Record Pro software.
Welcome back everybody, welcome back to a very special vlog. I'm here and I have a lot to talk about this time. The entire reason is most of all complaints. But also the solution to all the complaints that I got. So let's first start with the complaints, just to get an answer on this part. And I'm gonna showcase it with colorful blocks in this case. I had an argument with like 4 people that contacted me about their wishes for BlueMap Essentials. BlueMap Essentials, just see it as a white line, binds like each block different plugins their support. They requested different plugins to be included into the BlueMap Essentials, which I was doing on my way and tried my best for. However, it didn't went as I wanted to do. And one of the examples, the most known one by everyone right now, is that I said no against plot squared 5. So I reported it. I'm not gonna do that one. Reason, I just can't get it to work. Currently the V5 version is a version that's normally either paid or you need to compile it yourself using the GitHub tool, the Git tool, together with a compile software like Eclipse. And what goes wrong here is that many people do not even know how to do something like that. So they are either forced to pay or to leave it. That's why V4, the version 4, is still in existence. Otherwise they removed it from Spigot. At least that's what I would do if I made a entirely new system. Anyways, taking a look at what I tried, it's a lot. I tried really a lot to get it working. The sad problem was that the classes and the features that plot squared version 5 used basically, broke my entire plugin due to the fact that it thought it was a V4 version, 4 version thought it was 5 and backwards. So the classes were both called. So if I run version 4 enabled, then it worked. But when I enabled version 5 instead of 4, it didn't work because the names of the methods are the same, but the classes are different for the functions. Besides that, the methods were named the same, but the classes where the methods were in were also different, and the package was also different, and the way of thinking can also be the same. So in this case, it went all the way around. It kept on crashing, thinking that I was running version 4 instead of 5, because both used the same namespace. And that's where it goes wrong with the version 4 and 5. In the end, I started searching for a solution, but while I was searching for a solution, a few people started shouting at me, saying terrible things at me for not including a plugin, that I was a terrible developer, that I do not listen to users, etc, etc, just because I do not add the functionality to this plugin. I was working on it, but I cannot do magic, as I already said before. I said no so that I do not keep the hopes up from people for something that might be impossible for me to build in. Although they keep on saying yes, it's free. No, it's not free for the normal user. It's free for people that know how to compile, export, etc, etc, using Git and Eclipse or IntelliJ or any other coding platform. So that's also a difference in opinion. In the end, I managed to solve the issue. However, the delay was such a long time that in between the first announcement from me not doing it due to the fact that I didn't get it working, my email is full of complaints of the same 4 people, by the way. Those 4 people sent me over 28 messages on email and a few DMs. They even tried once to make a review with 1 star. To basically go against my opinion and say that I do not listen. Well, I do listen and I'm happy to help. This is one of my first free projects that is basically going over the free project that I made in my past. I have made one before and that one was open source and got stolen. I'm not making it open source right now. So that's also an answer from some of you. However, the other plugins like Residence that somebody asked me to do and some extra integration into CMI, I made it so that Residence is fully working and CMI holographic displays is working. And I merged the vanilla type things into one system. So, to be short, to end the complaints about people, if you start complaining because of a feature that I do not want to build in, please stop complaining and listen very closely. This plugin is a free one. Let's just start with it's a free one. You get it as it is. Placing a suggestion does not mean that I must make it into the plugin. I'm not forced to do so. I'm trying to do my best, but I cannot promise anything. That's very important for everybody to know, that I'm not being forced by every suggestion people make. I'm one person that try to accept as many ones as I can and build as many ones as I can in, if I agree to it. Premium plugins I'm not gonna build in unless somebody gives me the money to buy that premium plugin to build it in. But I'm not gonna use an API of a premium plugin just because the API is free and the plugin is paid. No, I'm not gonna do that. Why? I cannot test it out because I do not own that premium plugin. As simple as it is. My BME, also known as BlueMap Essentials, is a free one and stays free. And because it's free, the hopes of getting premium functionality in it will not be as big as a premium plugin is. And it cost me a lot of money to make it as well, because I do spend a lot of time in it. Time is money by now. The software that I'm using is also sometimes costs money to use. I need a server to test it on that's stable and online on different platforms. I need to have an efficient workflow that also costs money. So stop complaining about a premium plugin that does not get added to the map itself. If you wanted to be in there, you can either wait, put your suggestion and wait. And if I cannot get it working or I do not want to build it in, search for another plugin that does it or complain at the author of the original plugin to open up his book or give me a free license to it so I can build it in. I'm not going to do it for a premium plugin. So without complaining even more about the fact that people complain about me, let's head over to the most awesome update ever in existence for BlueMap. Because beside the merging of the vanilla features, I also built in a lot of extra functionality. A new icon for CMI, for holographic displays. Everywhere you place a holographic from CMI, it can be shown on the map. You currently see a lot of pop-ups on my screen because I'm in the development world and I currently have like all claim plugins running at once. Because there was a big issue with BlueMap and my plugin, that my plugin created a deadlock on the loading process. Reason? Plugins are not optimized to mass readout. As simple as it is. I found out that residents and factions were both loading up files when I called them for information about a residence or a faction. And in the end, it tried it so many times due to the so many claims at once that BlueMap was doing the same thing as well, loading the markers file and then writing all the changes I make. That the hard drive just say, nope, I'm not gonna do it anymore. And basically when it starts loading, it cannot finish the loading and keeps on waiting on the process while the process is being blocked in the end. The game, or better to say the server, times out. And yeah, well, the server is down then. And that's not something we want to do, so I started optimizing. So all modules are now way more optimized than they are before. There's one thing I do need to mention, that as soon as you have a server with hundreds or thousands of towns before you install this plugin, please let me know if it fails and provide me the entire file with all the claims in it. So I can test it out and optimize it further until I get the 100 claims or something. I tested it out with, for example, factions, which is the safe zone, for example, from. And let me take a look quickly. I tested it out with 81 markers on safe zone, 81 markers on the war zone, and the claim itself, the faction itself, was also about 100 chunks. And each one is being sent as a chunk, so as markers separately. And I had the same issue before, like if I do it with so many, like more than 300 claims at once, that's what it's currently doing. Then it would do the same thing with me, deadlock. And I fixed it, it doesn't deadlock anymore. However, I cannot test it with hundreds of thousands of chunks, and such and Townie isn't that easy to work around, although I have the same thing. I have 82 markers for towns at currently active, and those markers are those claim zones, so I finally managed to fix a lot of issues. Thanks to Blue as well from BlueMap, that's the developer from it. He pointed me a little things out and pointed me that his plugin wasn't to blame, and I still excuse me for saying it, but it kept on warning me about BlueMap getting a file block error. When I dived into it deeper, I saw that the blocking process was one of my modules trying to load too much at the same time, so excuse me for it, I'm sorry, and I hope you can forgive me. But first and foremost, let me start. The plugin is now supported with a GUI. There we go. The names of the modules are randomly colored, so it can be white, it can be gray, it can be yellow, and so on. It basically loops around red, yellow, gray, green, light red, orange, black, green, light green is that, and then red, yellow. Basically it tries to loop, and it can be different with other people as well. As you can see here currently, you can see the plugins that are currently active on my server, and if they are active, that means that they are loaded in as well. At least you get the GUI if it's loaded. If it fails to load, then the GUI doesn't even pop up. And when I now click on the GUI, oh my goodness, I get an entire GUI. Yes, it's an entire GUI. You can enable and disable that module for the server in it. Even if it's disabled, you see it in the list, so you can adjust it. You can set the refresh interval, and when I click on it, you get a message in the chat with a nice flow from gray to blue, and you can set some preset times for it, and you get instructions on what it is. Like every 60 seconds is not recommended, and it gets better along the way. More lightweight, advised for medium servers, large servers, and networks. By default, it's on 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes, normally a module reloads. And if you want more something specific, you can adjust it in the file. When I click it, it will adjust. And as you can see, I've set it to 10 minutes. So if I click on it and I click 10 minutes, it adjusts it to 10 minutes. And if I click it and, for example, 5 minutes, then you can see that the time adjusts. Although I have to say that I'm sure that this isn't correct. I think I shift the time frame a little bit, but it's fixed when it releases. Oh, lovely. I'm pretty sure that 6000 stands for 10 minutes, but I made a mistake somewhere. Anyways, that will be fixed when it releases. The Y level is working flawlessly, and it's bedrock all the way to sky limit. As well as the other ones, you can see there is an instruction what it is. But I recommend always to keep sea level if this option is there. Some modules do not use Y level manually and get it out of the claim area or a claim zone or anything like it. In that case, it will show it automatically, and this arrow will turn into a tipped arrow, showcasing that you cannot adjust it manually. Then you have the normal options. For example, this is the resonance, the new module that I added. You can see show the enter message, leave message, name, bank, rented, for rent, and for sale. And if I click one, it gets to disabled. And in the left bottom, you see in the gray area that the setting is turned off or on. So you can turn and toggle it by just simply clicking it. The marker sets cannot be edited in the GUI. I did it on purpose. If I want to do this, then I have to write another class just for chat input, slowing down the entire system, and it's not optimized. Even worse, if I try to use it, but when I did it and it wrote down, then it crashes basically the module system due to the fact that it needs to reload directly. And if it doesn't reload directly, then it starts loading up the wrong names and messes up, and then you get messed up modules. And I have no idea where that came from. And then the most awesome thing, yes, the color. You know that many people request that they can change the colors of the claims. For example, the fill and the outline color of area claims. And many people kept on complaining, I want to adjust it, I want to change the colors to match my theme. No worries, it's all solved. When I click it, I can change the default color for resonance, and you see a lot of buttons here, so let me go over it. Close the manager, return to the module manager, switch mode from fill color to outline color. You can switch between both. This is automatically updated, these four, to its current condition. So in this case, red is on 125, 50, 55, 85. Red, green, blue is to specify the color, and alpha is the transparency. Although I have to say I cannot showcase this one, I can showcase the color. So if I move my mouse to the paper here, you can see example color in brownish color. If I, for example, add more blue and go to the paper, you see this becomes purple. And if I add more, it becomes more blue. And as you can see, the color of example color word changes on the setting you have adjusted it. So if I put the max amount of red in it, you can see it becomes pink. More blue with it, and I can get the exact finish pink color. And if I click again, it returns to 0, and then you can see that the full red is really full red. A little bit of green is in there, so it turns a little bit orange. See? So you can see every color before you use them. So in this case, let me just turn it into orange. The transparency of 85 is transparent, but not fully transparent. 100 is basically the normal line for these types of things. And if you think I want to start over, click on this one. It resets all colors to 0, including the alpha, so don't forget to set it up again. If alpha is 0, there is nothing shown. So if you want to have no fill, only an outline, turn alpha to 0 for the fill mode, like the mode fill. Set it to 0, and you just do not see the fill. It ignores the colors then. Same for the outline. And when I save this one, it's saved, and you can see here what I just adjusted. I set, for example, the transparency to 100, and you can see fill is 255, 145, 35, 100. 100 is the transparency, so you can see that I adjusted this. And as you can see, you can adjust all the different zones as well. This UI is, by the way, dynamic, so it adjusts to what is needed. And when you're done, you click save and reload, and it will automatically say that reload is called, and it starts reloading the BlueMap and the MCG plugin as well, the BlueMap Essentials. And when it's done reloading, I can show you. Just let me skip screen for a moment. Well, there you go. There you have it. This is the zone we just recolored to orange, and as you can see, it's new. You can see also these colors over here, the residence info, entry, exit, name, and balance, as well as the text in between. And you can see a little bit of adjustment with the colors. Why? Because you can even adjust these label colors right now for the text, for the background colors as well, the header, titles, and data, everything can be edited separately. So that's a nice little feature that's also there. The residence module includes a different one. This is only an outline, by the way. Let me just click the outline. There we go. This is a residence for rent. As you can see, it's for rent. The rent is 7 days for $1,000. However, if I click on this one, this is a normal subzone. And this is one that's for sale for 100. These ones are currently inside as a subzone, but they also work as separate zones. So, for example, if I put this massive residence for sale, then it will turn into yellow. The entire will turn into yellow. And it adjusts its label depending on what it is doing. For example, if you have something for sale, it will change it to the sale thing. The between brackets S icon means that it's a sub-claim, sub-residence within the main residence. So that's it's something worth mentioning. Like I said before, I did a stress test with the markers from factions. So over here I have tested out factions, and as you can see, these are all dependent claim chunks. War zones, save zones, and yeah, this is a smaller one because I had to remake it. But also I tried to do it again, but then time with Townie as well enabled. And when I enabled Townie, I got a lot of extra chunks it needed to load. So yeah, a lot of markers were added. Then I thought, why not add a nation? So as you can see here, nation is different color now, but it's the same size as the town. So also the same amount of markers were enabled. And in the end, I tried it all at the same time. From residents to nether portals to town jails, world guard claims, anything that I can together. And yeah, way too much happened at the same time. Sorry about this, by the way. I made a boo-boo earlier on during testing. This should be red protect, by the way. I fixed that already, but it isn't updated in my map. But as you can see here, it's a massive amount of claims that it all loaded at once. So yeah, there is a solution for everything, and even for this one I managed to solve the issue as well. So let's get back to the game, shall we? Welcome back in the game. Let me say something for short. We have the world manager here. I opened it using the residence and then manage maps button. You can see possible maps and then all the maps as they now show. Keep in mind the Y means it's enabled, the N means it's disabled. The one thing I want to mention, do not edit the file anymore. I got so many people complaining, bug reporting because they didn't understand how to fill it in. Now it is made easier, although I do not recommend it editing and outside games. One spelling mistake, one caps on the wrong place, one dot in the name, and it gives massive errors in console. That's not something you want to do, and not something that I can solve at all, because basically you're doing it yourself. So in this case it's as easy as clicking it, it turns off or on again. Same for nether, turns off or on again. See? And you can click it and it turns it on or off. You can see all worlds there are and all maps there are in BlueMap. So if BlueMap has it in its render.config or .conf, it's normally are, then it will show up here as well. Beside that, the BMI set flags is still there. It shows the modules now first, and when you click the module you get the same menu once again. Same for the GUI settings. You can do them. However, I do not recommend it. So simply BMI GUI is more than enough. And you can, if you want to bypass this GUI, type the name of the module after it as well, and it will open it directly into your screen. So that bypasses the GUI, but is case sensitive. Keep that in mind. So yeah, well, everything is in here. And you can close the window as well. There's one last thing that I need to announce. And this is a very special one. I had a poll a few weeks ago, if it's not longer. And I got contacted by some dudes that wanted to ask how I wanted to implement it. Let me be short about this one. I made a project called MCG Plugin Security. This is not a anti-theft tool. This is based for basically the security of the plugin. That if something breaks along the usage of the plugin, that it doesn't pull your server into abyss. It catches like 95% of the errors that are major. It will not prevent every error. Just keep it in note. But most errors are now being catched. And if they are catched by my system, you get a nice explainful and detailful report in your console talking about what happened, where it happened, how it happened, and what you can do about it. And otherwise, what you can do if you cannot solve it yourself. Besides that, there is now an option built in to send the report to MCG itself. That means me. That if something goes wrong, the error gets sent to my API. It checks if the report is already being made or not. If it's so, then it will just ignore the report. And if it's not being made yet, then it will provide me with the ticket and information so I can solve the issue for the next person. I can mark the error sometimes as invalid if something is, for example, human error, like somebody entered a document that with the wrong information, then that error will be filtered out. So making false reports, it just doesn't work. Beside that, people started to complain, yeah, what about our privacy? You do not want to lose any private details. I totally understand. I have the same exact thinking about that. That's why I removed anything that can be pointed at you. If you're using the plugin and have a report sending enabled, nothing is saved that reports to you. So I never know who sent in the report. I never know it. I just get the report and I can fix the report. I just cannot see where it's from, who it's from. I do not even save IP addresses. There is a llama going into my face. Yeah, to be exact, the plugin is made of 4 components. The first one is the reporter itself. It doesn't send reports by itself. You need to confirm by editing the settings file from the MCG security in order to approve that we may send those error reports to me. The error report will only include the error itself and the line where it occurred, and it will only trigger for my own plugins, not for some other plugin. And it will definitely not send anything else than the report itself. Then there are some extra options, 3 extra options to be exact. One of which will send the startup log with the report to me. It can be toggled off or on. The same counts for the plugin list, so I can see which versions of plugins you're running. Beside my plugin, so I can see if there's any conflict in both. And the last but not least, the platform info. So I know if you run Paper or Spigot or any other fork of the Bucket platform, or Bucket itself, of course, if it still works. And that way I can test it out for that platform. Maybe it's something specific for that platform, that's why it happened. So those are the options you have. The more you send, the faster and quicker I can solve it, and the less chance there is that the problem cannot be solved. I am trying to make it so that if something is already known and is a user error, I try to build it so that it will return a message from my system that automatically says the resolution to solve the issue yourself. If possible, and otherwise it will return that the ticket will be reviewed soon. I'm still working out the details for the platform, and it is partly built in. The reporter is working, it's not sending anything at the moment. So sending is currently disabled until my API is done building. So when this update goes live, it will include the new system partly. You can already turn the settings on or off for the future, by the way. However, it will not send anything. It will currently only say sending report and then report send, but it doesn't do anything in between. It never sends. You can check that out. It currently doesn't send anything to the web. It just simply reports the error to you at this current moment. These errors are cleaner to read. They will cut out many unuseful information that's basically a repeat of itself due to classes that are not important. And yeah, well, my system basically cleans it up, showcases it in a more nice way in the end resolution. So hopefully you like that system. If you do not like that system, just keep sending errors off and nothing happens at all. It just catches my errors and shows them in a more neat way. So I think that's all that I have for today. Hopefully you liked everything I explained and showcased. Beside this update for BlueMap Essentials, I also released an update for MCG StarCraft, including the new placeholder API support for placeholders. If you have any suggestions for my current plugin, BlueMap Essentials, that we are currently showing, as well as possible other plugins that can be implemented, be sure to contact me on Discord about this by going to one of the suggestion channel and posting your suggestion in it, like, can you support this plugin, or is this plugin already supported? And then you can expect an answer from me most of the time within 24 hours, because I'm pretty quick with responding. Most people know that by now. However, if I say no, it is with reason, and even without a reason, I have the chance to say no about those things. Some things are just too hard for me to support before it ruins anything else, or I just do not have expertise to build it in. I'm already doing some hackish tricks because some plugins that are included in my BlueMap Essential do not even have an API. So keep that in mind. So thank you all for watching, and oh my god, I have a lot of money. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Good luck!